today we're going to talk about the top 10 modifications that we think newbies might need on their Casitas, whether they're old or new. Just things that we think should come standard sometimes with our Casitas, but they definitely improve your lifestyle while you're using the Casita. Hi everyone, I'm Amanda from Two Doves Nation, and we are here at the 2019 Casita Gathering in Durango, Colorado, and I have with me one of the co-hosts of this gathering, and his name is Nolan. Nolan, thank you so much for coming and hosting this gathering. We've really enjoyed it today. We wanted to talk to you today about some of your modifications on your Casita.
Sure.
Okay, so the first one we were talking about, Nolan, were Scissor Jacks. Now, the Scissor Jacks or a different type of jack come on the newer Casitas, but the older ones have something like what you have on the back of yours or other versions.
What they have is different than this. I put those on, but the Scissor Jacks are on the new ones. And so if you're buying a new trailer, this is something you don't have to worry about. It comes with 4 of them. If you are buying a used trailer, then it would be a good idea to add Scissor Jacks. They are very stable. They lift a lot of weight. You can lift the wheel off the ground to change a tire, something like that.
And that was a big thing for me, and one of the things that we're looking at. We have them on the back of ours, but not on the front. Yeah. But to me, that's really important. You don't have to take anything out. If you have problems with your tires, you can use whatever's already on your Casita if you have the Scissor Jacks.
If you have one in back of the wheel.
Yes. In the back of the wheel, you can lift it up and change your tire if necessary.
And they're very robust. They will easily lift the trailer.
Yes.
So.
Now this is where your 30 amp cord comes out of your Casita, and I know a lot of people call it the mouse hole. Yours has a cover on it, and this is a modification that you did that you recommend, correct?
Yes. There are lots of ways to do this, and there are some commercial products made to close off the extra space for the cord, but in my case I just made one myself.
Right.
But the original Casita setup has a fairly large hole for that 30 amp cord to come out.
Yes.
And so people have closed that area down around the cord with things so mice wouldn't crawl up the cord and get into your trailer.
Yes, mice, critters, ants, all that good stuff.
Ants might still be able to get in, but mouse
Actually, what I've seen people do is also wrap flypaper around the section of the cord that's coming out to keep the little critters from getting in there, like bugs.
Some people use steel wool.
Yes.
And some other things. That this is just my solution to it.
Okay, so Nolan, the next modification we talked about was painting the hitch. A lot of people now have backup cameras in their truck, and you say this helps improve the visual aspect of it? Absolutely.
If you've got a backup camera on your tow vehicle and are hitching up to a trailer, if it's a little dark, dusk, or even at night, it's very difficult to see the ball, the hitch ball, lining up with the trailer tongue. The painted white nose on the trailer tongue adds immensely to the ability to hook up and get the hitch right the first time and just see what you're doing. Otherwise you have to make trips back and forth to look where your trailer is and where the hitch is.
I kind of had a duh moment when I saw this. I was like, duh, that's going to help so much when I'm backing up, because now Ace helps me, and with the backup camera, I mean, it's pretty good, but sometimes I'm just like, I need a little bit extra help just to get it lined up just right.
My tow vehicle has not only a backup camera, but it also has a close-up feature in the camera. And so I can zero in on the hitch and the ball and put the ball within 1/8 of an inch of where it needs to be, because you can see it.
Yes, so that makes a big difference.
Makes a big difference. Easier to hook up.
Yes. The next modification that we discussed was having an extra step on your Casita. Now I know with yours you haven't modified it, but on other Casitas or on other RVs you can get the steps that actually have 2, correct?
That's right.
Okay. And we were talking, some of the reasons is different campsites, you never know how high you're going to be off the ground or how level you're going to be or anything. Now,
Or if there's mud or something there.
Yes, or if there's mud or something there. Correct. Now, is this something that you got just off the internet, or?
Actually, I got this at a camping store, but they're pretty common. You can get them off the internet.
Okay.
So this is actually a mod, if you call it a mod, that's more for my wife than me. She wants an extra little step to get up into the camper because the first one's a little tall for her.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I got it.
Okay. So the next modification we talked about too was putting screens on a lot of the vents on the Casita. And can you explain to us why that's important?
Yeah, the screens need to be on a lot of the openings to keep insects and bees and things like that out. It's mainly for bees, wasps and mud daubers and things of that sort, because those openings are fairly large and easily accessible. But with the screens on, it keeps the critters out. And you can save yourself a lot of heartache, because I know Southern girl dirt daubers, they can create havoc and just be a mess to clean up and can damage a lot of things. So if you don't know they're there, they can build a pretty big nest inside something like this. And especially, but the screens stop that. Especially with the vent holes, if you don't know that they're there, then you can even hurt your equipment inside because they're not being vented properly. It can stop up airflow and so on. So it's pretty important to have screens on the openings like that. And they're fairly inexpensive too. They are, something and they're very, very commonly available. And something that can save you a lot of heartache in the end. Absolutely. All right, this is one of the things that a lot of, not just Casita owners, but any travel trailer owners that I think would find valuable. And it's fairly simple. Can you explain to us what it is? Sure. Most campers have storage doors. Yes. Some are large, some are small, but storage doors often don't have hold-up ways to hold the door up while you're working in the storage area. Yes. This particular one, I just added this little clip, and it holds the door up so I don't have to hold it up with my hand while I'm digging around in there for something. Yes. So it's just a convenience. Yes, it's a big convenience. Yeah. And I know nowadays a lot of newer RVs and travel trailers and everything, they have magnetic ones that hold up and everything, but especially for us Casita owners, I think that this is really important on our... And if you don't have a hold up on whatever camper you've got, storage door hold up, those are really nice to have. So the next modification, we're going inside the travel trailer, the Casita, and one of the more simpler ones that I saw that I thought was really interesting too was that you have put up Maglite holders, I guess is what you call them. Exactly, that's exactly what they are. Okay, and you can find these at just about any hardware store and everything, correct? Any place that sells the Maglite, we usually have them. And you said you have these in multiple places? I've got two of them. This one is just inside the door. Right. So I can just open the door and grab this at night and have a flashlight. Yes. Flashlights are something every camper should have, one or two of at least. Yes. And this one is very accessible because I can just open, I don't have to come inside the camper to get it. I can just reach in the door and have a flashlight for various purposes, especially at night. And I know some people don't think about it, but Maglites are very heavy, and it can also be used not just as a flashlight, but for protection too, if you have it close to the floor. It's been done before. Yes. One of our last inside modifications that we were talking about was this particular cutoff valve in the toilet. And can you explain that to me for a little bit? Sure. The water supply line for the toilet is right out of the city water or out of the the water tank for the Casita. And sometimes those valves in the back of the toilet can start leaking. And if it leaks and you don't have a way to shut the water off to the toilet, it'll just keep running. And so I installed a ball valve cutoff, and that can save a boondocking trip because you can still use all the facilities, and you can use the rest of the water system even if the water supply is cut off from the toilet. So it's a safety feature and a convenience feature. Yes. To be able to shut the water off in case something goes wrong with the valve in the back of the toilet. And I really like that too, saying that you can save a camping trip. So if you have a small leak in your toilet or whatever, you're not going to ruin your trip or feel like you have to go and get it immediately fixed. Indeed. And it's usually not a small leak in these camper toilets either.
Yes.
It's usually a fairly substantial leak.
Well, they're plastic, so...
This is a valve that shuts off the water supply to the toilet. And by the way, that valve is available almost any hardware store. They're not inexpensive. They're very available.
Perfect. Okay, so this is what we discussed was your favorite modification that you've done, and this is what you call the Superbumper. Can you explain it a little bit for us?
This is called a Superbumper. It's essentially a big shock absorber it mounts into the Hitch receiver, and if you back into a post, when you're setting up your camper, if you back into a post or a tree or a rock or something of that sort, it absorbs the shock before it damages the trailer.
Yes, sir.
So it's also a pretty good idea if you are bumped at a stoplight by a car. It's essentially just a big shock absorber that takes the hit and leaves the Casita, the trailer,
yes, sir,
hopefully undamaged. It allows it to take the hit and not damage anything.
Yes, sir. Now, is your hitch receiver, is it welded onto your bumper, or is it onto the axle underneath?
No, it's all attached to the frame. There's nothing on the bumper of any of the hitch or the spare tire carrier. The bumper is not that robust.
Yes.
But everything is bolted onto the frame.
Okay.
Nothing's welded, by the way. It's all on with bolts, and is completely removable if you wanted to take it all off.
Perfect. And you did mention that you even use this on your truck when you're not using your Casita.
When I'm not towing the trailer, when the trailer's stored, I take this off and put it on my tow vehicle as a safety device. It protects the back of my truck.
Now, I'm kind of curious, because I've actually never seen a Superbumper. Is that something that also insurance companies kind of look at, that maybe they might give you a little bit of discount on, since you have additional precautions?
I wish I knew the answer to that. I don't know. It's certainly possible. The name of it, by the way, is Superbumper. That's the name of the company. Okay. They're made in Minnesota, and they have, I don't know, 2 or 3 different styles of these things. And so insurance, I hope they would give me a discount. I never thought to ask them. Oh. So when I get home, I'll do that.
All right, that sounds good. So we were just talking, this isn't exactly a mod that you recommend, but it is something that you recommend for newbies or even other campers, because you never know where you're going to be camping at. And these water filters help purify the water that you're using in your rig, correct?
Yes, it does. It's a charcoal filter. And as you say, you never know what kind of water supply you're going to be tapping into. So it's nice to have a good filter so that the water you use inside the camper is good water.
I know a lot of people, or I've seen like a lot of advertisements for those big Berkey filters and all of this stuff, and they're great and the water tastes good, but if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, I think this is kind of the way to go.
Absolutely. And they're very replaceable. They're inexpensive to start with and available in almost anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you see them all over Walmart, and some grocery stores have them and stuff.
Virtually all camping stores have them.
Yes, sir. So. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we wanted to give you our idea of what some of the modifications for newbies. Now, we've talked about how, of course, everyone's going to have a different opinion of some of the different modifications that need to be done, but we wanted to show it from a view of also someone who's been in their Casitas a little bit and understands some of the things that you like. And we've gone through a lot of modifications here. We've walked around people's sites and everything, and we wanted to look at yours because honestly yours had the most modifications. But thank you so much, Nolan, for giving us the time and walking around your trailer with us to show us these things. And thank you so much for being a co-host here at the gathering. We really appreciate it, and we've really enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun putting it together.
It was, and we're looking forward to it next year.
Great.
Thank you so much.
You bet.